Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Champion Real Estate Academy of Mass Learning segment. So today we are actually going to go over how to properly fill out the PSI application so you can schedule the real estate exam. I know, for a lot of my students, we go over it in depth in the course, but sometimes, by the time you get your certificate or you're ready to fill out your application, you kind of forget, what to do. So I'm going to go step by step on what you need to do and how to fill out your application so that way you have no errors, no mistakes. Once you submit it, they have it, they'll process it, and then that way you can test as soon as possible. So the first thing we need to do is go to the PSI website. I'm going to leave you the link here. Now, on the PSI website, there's actually two ways to access the application. There's a long way, and then there's a kind of a shorter way to do it. I'm going to leave you the link to the shorter way below, so that way you can just click on it and it brings you right to the application. But if you want to know how to get there, this is what we're going to do. First, we're going to select government state licensing agencies. From here, you're going to select your state. For us, it's going to be Massachusetts. Now, under account, it's going to ask you, what are you testing for? And of course, we're testing all Massachusetts real estate exams. You're going to click on that, and it's going to bring you here. You're going to see this link right here. Click on this link. So once you click on the link, it's going to bring you to this page here. This page is the same page that you're going to utilize to schedule the exam. Okay, so once your application gets approved through PSI, then at that point you're going to come right back here and you're going to schedule your exam, and you'll schedule it either via in person if you want to take the class in person. The exam in person, or you can do an online exam as well. And I'll get into all of that. So you want to click on the right-hand side here. You're going to see Download Bulletin for MA Broker, MA Salesperson Exams. Click on that, and it's going to open up the PDF. This is your application, okay? So here it is. Okay, so the application is going to start on page 22, okay? Now, page 22 is really just a guideline for you as far as what you're going to need. This is a little checklist for you. It's really not important. You don't need to submit this document to PSI. However, there is some information here that you need, which is at the very bottom. So when you are done with the application, you can actually scan it and email it directly to PSI. I highly recommend that you do that because they're going to get it a lot quicker and they'll be able to process your application quicker. So the email is right here. You just click on it and you go. Now, if you are going to email your application, and let's say, you go to Staples or UPS store or whatever, FedEx store, and they're the ones that are going to scan it for you, make sure you scan a copy to yourself as well. Because what you don't want is that, you call in and they lost it, and now you have to do it all over again. So if you have a scanned copy for yourself, then you can just resend it and you're all set, okay? Now, if you don't want to email your application, you prefer to mail it in, then here is the mailing address for PSI. They're out in Vegas, okay? You can do that. Keep in mind, it's going to delay your application probably, another 3 to 5 business days just for the mail to get there, and then they physically will have to go through it. So, if you're looking to test right away, I highly recommend emailing your application. All right, guys, so let's get into the application. So the first thing that we need to do is get a photo of yourself, a recent photo of yourself, okay? I recommend going to like CVS, Walgreens, and getting a passport photo and using that, because that photo is going to be really clear, and especially if you scan your application, it's going to come through much better. If you have a high quality Polaroid, yes, you can use that. What I don't recommend is taking a selfie and then trying to print that on your home printer and then cutting that out. That's going to be a mess. You don't want to do that. The next line, now this section here kind of confuses people a little bit. Now I kind of pre-fill this out for my students, but if your school didn't do it for you, this is what you need to do. So if you are taking the salesperson's license, you want to check this box right here, okay? And that's all you have to do. If you are going for your broker's license, then you want to check this box, and then you need to write in your salesperson license number that you have now, okay? And then you need to write in when that license was issued. Remember, you have to be a salesperson for 3 years before you can test for your broker's license. All right, so the next step here is pretty simple. Just filling in all the pertinent information, right? Social, date of birth, your gender, last name, first name, middle initial, generation. I get this question a lot. What's generation? Well, if you're a junior, or if you are, a third or fourth, like, Louis Garcia, the fourth or whatever it is, then that's your generation. That's what you're going to put in that box there. If you're a senior, that's what you're going to put in that box. Building number and then street address. Remember, building number. So if you live on, 123 Main Street, the 123 goes in the building number, and then Main Street goes into the street address. Okay. Phone number, mobile number, and then email address. Now, this is important. Make sure it's legible when you're writing in the email address, because if you prefer for PSI to email you and let you know when your application has been approved, you want them to make sure they get to you. We've had a number of cases where PSI has emailed the wrong person. Okay, so make sure it's legible. Okay, page 2. So page 2, what you're going to do, whether you're a salesperson or broker, if you're going for the salesperson exam, you're going to check off that you've completed the 40-hour course. If you're going for your brokers, you're checking off that you completed the 40 hours on that side, okay? Work experience as a salesperson, there is no work experience because you're a salesperson, you're applying for the salesperson's license. But for the brokers, you need to check off, yes, that you have the 3 years work experience. Now, if you're in out-of-state education, so for instance, if you are applying for a reciprocal license, you're licensed in another state and you are moving to Massachusetts, and Massachusetts doesn't reciprocate, meaning that they just won't give you the license, you have to take at least a state exam. A lot of times they will waive the education requirement, so you don't have to take the 40-hour class, and you just gotta do the study the state laws and then take the state exam, and then you're all set. So if that's the case, if you have the waiver, then you're going to check off the waiver for either one. Now, these next questions here are qualifying questions. This is where the state wants to know, have you ever been convicted of a felony, of a crime? Have you ever lost your license in any state or jurisdiction, anything like that? Answer the questions, honestly and truthfully. Don't over answer the question. So just answer what's there. If it says, have you ever been convicted of a crime? If you've never been convicted, then the answer is no. If you have been convicted, then you're going to choose yes. Now, they are going to give you some space here to write in a response. A lot of time that's not enough. So what you want to do is get an extra piece of paper, and then on that paper, just write the number, response to question number 4, 5, whatever it is. Write in the full response, and then that's it, okay? Believe me, the state, they do quarry checks as part of this. You're authorizing it. We're going to see it soon. Don't lie. If you lie, it's going to be awful. And I've had students that have been convicted of prior felonies and that have been able to get their license. So, just let them know. Really what they're looking at is, are you on probation right now? If you're on probation now, don't waste your time. You're not going to be able to get licensed. And they want to know, how long ago that, that issue was that you had, and it hasn't been resolved, right? Do you have a clean record from that time to now? And if you have, chances are you're going to get your license. So you want to sign and date on the bottom. Now, on this page here, if you require any special assistance under ADA guidelines, you want to check this off here, and then you're going to pay for the exam. You have to put in your information. Now, you do need to fill this out if you are going to submit the application online. Now, for folks that don't like putting their debit card or credit card information, here and then scanning it and emailing it, what I recommend is, go get a Visa, prepaid card for the amount of the exam, which is going to be $85, which we see right here. Okay, it's $85 for the salesperson, $106 for the broker. So whatever it is, just put a Visa card prepaid for that amount and then put that code in there. Or your credit card company, like if you have Capital One or something like that, they will actually offer you like virtual numbers, like ghost numbers that you only use once. And that way someone doesn't have, your full credit card info. You can do that and just, send along with that. If you are a veteran and you have a DD 214 form, they do give you a discount on the exam. The exam will then be $54, okay, if you're a vet. So you just have to provide your DD 214 form, and then you'll get that special rate. All right, so the next page that we have here is the Quarry Form. This form is allowing you are authorizing the state of Massachusetts to perform a quarry on you and make sure that you have a clean, background. Now, this document consists of 2 pages. This is the front of the document, and this is the back, the second page, okay? Now, very important, do not sign this until you are in front of a notary. This has to be notarized, okay? So do not sign and date here. What you want to do under border registration, all you have to do is type in real estate. Okay, you can type in real estate there, and then under license, you're going to write in salesperson. That's it. On the second page, now you can fill this out no problem. You can put your address, date of birth, your height, color, all that other stuff. This box right here is for the notary. So when you go before the notary, they're going to actually stamp that, fill that out, and then you are going to sign the front page, this piece right here. Then you're going to sign and date it. Do not sign and date it before the notary, because the notary will say, well, now I can't do it because you already pre-signed it. So get me another copy. Okay, so you don't want to run into that, so just make sure you leave that blank until you're in front of the notary. If you don't know where to get the document notarized, go to your local bank or like UPS store, Staples, FedEx store. They typically have a notary, and it's about like $3 to get it notarized. I think your bank could do it for free. Okay, now here's the exciting part. This is actually your certificate. Okay, this is what enables you to take the exam. So if you're going for the salesperson, your school should have filled out your name, written the name of the school, how many hours you've completed, the date that you've completed the 40 hours. The school's authorized agent is going to print their name and then sign in the bottom, and then they're going to stamp it. For schools, we have a special stamp that we utilize and identifies the school. So they're going to stamp it. Without that stamp, the certificate is nothing, okay? So that's for the salesperson. On the broker side, same thing. The only difference is you are going to attach your license number. You're going to include it here, and then that's it. You just have to, reference your salesperson's number. The bottom part is going to be if you do have that education board waiver, the board will actually stamp your paperwork. All right. So the next thing we have here is the candidate endorsements. Okay, this is very, very important. You don't know how many students miss this. During, every class, every time, we get at least 1 or 2 people that miss this. I don't know why. You need 3 references, okay? Now, the references have to be individuals that are not related to you. They have to either live or have a business in the state that you're in. So you're in Massachusetts, they either have to live in Massachusetts or own a business in Massachusetts for them to sign off, okay? They have to use ink, either blue or black ink. They can't electronically sign or anything like that, or pencil. They're gonna write their name, their address, their occupation, and that's it. That's all it is. No phone numbers. They just want to make sure, the state wants to make sure that people know who you are, that you're not just like a lone wolf, and that once you get your license, you're going to do bad things. So you need 3 references. Now, for the folks taking this salesperson's class, this is it. This is all you need to do. You're done at this point. You're going to take all the documents we just went over, you're going to scan them, and you're going to submit it to the state or to PSI. It's taken PSI about 12 to 18 business days right now to process. So you should receive an email shortly, within that window or shortly after, saying that it's okay for you to take the exam. If there's a problem, they're going to tell you what the problem is, okay? If something came up on your quarry or whatever it is, they'll tell you what they want, and then you'll have to provide, additional paperwork. Now, for brokers, for those going for the brokers, remember, you have to be employed by a broker for 3 years, all right? You have to be a licensed agent for 3 years. All your brokers that you've been affiliated with need to fill this out. Now, if you were with one broker for 3 years, then that's easy. They just fill out when you started and when you ended, right? Or you're still there. If you've been with multiple brokers, you need to go to each one of those brokers and they need to fill this out, and they have to write in for what time you were practicing under their, with their brokerage. As long as it adds up to 3 years, you're fine. Now, in addition to getting the letters from the brokers, you do need to be bonded when you take the exam, because technically, once you pass, you are a real estate broker. You can open up your own business that day under your name as a sole proprietor. You can't have agents underneath you, but you can operate on your own. So you do need to be bonded. You need a $5,000 bond. Now, it's not going to cost you $5,000. It's probably going to cost you about $150, to get your to be bonded, and that's good for like 2 or 3 years. And remember, every time you renew your broker's license, you have to renew your bond. Okay, so once you get your broker's license, when you renew that, you're going to have to renew your bond as well. Your bond and your broker's license go hand in hand. You can never have your broker's license and not have the bond active. You'll lose your license, okay? So if you're in Massachusetts, there's a list of companies that you can utilize. I think we have it here. Here's a copy of the bond. It's blank. And then here are the companies, copy of the companies. Any pretty much local Massachusetts company will be able to do it. If you let them know what you're testing for, they'll look it up and they'll do the correct paperwork. But that bond has to be submitted with your application. You can't submit your application and say, oh, I get the bond after. No, it's going to delay. You have to do everything all together. And then this form here is that if you do qualify for the veterans discount, you just need to fill out this form and attach the DD 214 so you can get that $54 fee instead of the normal $85 for the salesperson or $1 or $6 for the brokers. Well, there you have it, folks. That's how you fill out the PSI application. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll do my best. I'll certainly get back to you and help you with the application. Be on the lookout for new upcoming videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that way you can be notified of new videos coming on. We will see more content out there. Now, if there's something special that you would like for me to go over, please drop me a comment, let me know. I have a series of videos coming on, and I'll certainly make sure I cover that piece for you guys, because I'm pretty sure that other people have the same question too. Well, thank you for spending time with me, and I hope to see you in class.